Okay, thank you for coming back. It's 16:48, the time on the back clock, and we're going to finish by 1700. And it's fantastic to see so many people still here, still a lot of energy in the room. So thank you all for that. We thought that we'd just begin this short session by asking the two people who've been chairing the parallel groups to summarise what the main points were. Maybe Jess, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So I suppose I thought maybe I'd say good news and bad news. So the good news, I think, out of the session was that May 1,000 Flowers Bloom. Enormous amounts of work being done in the community, both in individual conditions, across conditions, access to treatment, how we help patients through their journey. That's the good news. The bad news is that so much of that good work was news to other people in the room. So I think very much a case that people were seeing surprised looks on people's faces as other people shared their work. This, I think, was the first time that many people had seen it all in one place. And perhaps alongside that, perhaps a general feeling of the lack of conversation between teams about the good stuff that they're doing. So that was my summary impression, and I thought I'd bring just one quote, the quote of the afternoon, I thought, for me, which I've slightly paraphrased and adapted, came from Anne Markwick, who spoke first, talking to her GPs about ARC, and one of the GPs said to her, well, you call it an inappropriate referral, I call it someone who I don't know how to help. And maybe I think that might be quite a good metaphor and motto for the whole community, really, as we hand off patients between interfaces. And we often say, well, why did they send us that patient? And of course, the answer is because they don't know how to help. So can we help? And can we start to think of things and handoffs in that way? That'd be my summary.
Okay, thanks. And Sarah.
Okay, so I was struck by the number of very practical examples of the ways in which we are, in a way, redefining the relationship between service users, staff, and carers. And I think, that's one of the central themes running through Promise. What is that therapeutic relationship? How does it work in a very empathetic way and a two-way street? And I think, a good example of that would be the away day on Springbank, where it's not just the staff going on an away day, it's the staff, the service users and the carers going on the away day. And I think that's very symbolic for me in terms of the way that we want to do things going forwards. So that was definitely a theme for me. I think the other thing that kind of landed with me was Manaan's concept of courageous conversations. We want to be a place where anybody can have an idea about how we can improve things, how we can make those relationships better. And that doesn't matter what role you hold on a unit, or whether you're a carer or whether you're a service user. So the sort of challenge I think I'll take away is, how do I make it easier for those courageous conversations to happen, for those ideas to surface, and for those ideas to be put into practice, without them going through 10 layers of bureaucracy before they come into being. But it was very positive, but I think we have some thinking to do about how we get those ideas out there going forwards and how we evaluate them. But thank you.
Peter, can I just say that courageous conversations is not my concept, it's something from Kaiser Permanente, but it's one of the themes in which particularly the acute wards have tried to run their show in a way, and challenge their ward managers, consultants, to try and shift the power dynamics that are going on. And you're absolutely spot on. The therapeutic relationships have changed between staff and patients. So, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for those reflections. They were, of course, reflections on things that you've all been listening to, and in most cases have been contributing to as well. So does anyone in the room want to add their own reflections on the day, or what has just been said? Been a great day. Yeah.
I do have a question though.
And I think that's a very good question, Mary. So I think the question is, well, we had one presentation from Kimberly regarding dementia, and we love Sosha, so she had to speak from Darwin. Other than that, actually, even from the mental health side, this is a very adult-oriented show that we put on. And the hope would be that next year, this is the first of other conferences, and next year we will have a 2-day event so that kind of we can grow this, and it's not an adult-specific event. So we have quarterly events that's run through our program. So we have 3 quarterlies in a year, and the 4th quarterly around World Mental Health Day, we could turn it into a promise event, and kind of perhaps next year the goal would be to, yes, we could be ambitious and say, right, all of CPFT services, but actually perhaps going even beyond that. We had lots of third sector organisations with stalls today, people from County Council, so police.
It's a really strong challenge. It sparked a very personal thought in me. I phoned my daughter this morning because she'd been to the doctor, and she said, yeah, I know, do you know, Mum, he was really nice to me. And I thought, you're a doctor's daughter and you're surprised your doctor was nice to you. So we have got, you're right, we have got to offer it to all sides of the business.
Yeah, Andy.
I've forgotten the name of the psychiatrist from Oxford, but his presentation indicated how mental health problems are actually going to increase in the future. And we do have a challenge around how people who live experiencing mental health problems are more likely to suffer from physical health problems as well. And they do somewhat sit hand in glove. We could, in the future, in the normal population, be the market leaders in this area anyway, or the experts. So maybe it's something to think about for the future.
Absolutely.
It doesn't look as though there are any other comments, but that reminds me to ask you one last time to please put some notes down on that sheet on each of the sessions that's in the pack, and please leave it as you go out. My own comment on the day, I mean, the key question, Mary, is right, how do we keep this going? But what's come out is about momentum. You know, this is something that is moving. It's not that people have put presentations together about something they want to do. It's something that they are doing. And I think it's been great. So I'd like to begin to close by thanking everyone for attending and everyone who presented and all the work that you put into the presentations. But I suppose on that point, all the work that has made those presentations simply reflect what's going on, not only in CPFT, but in our collaborator trusts as well. And thank you to those people, 3 of you have come over from Hertfordshire. I began by saying that the day has relied on input from many people, and Sarah and Manaan leading that, and we thank the secretaries. I'd just like to add my personal thanks and admiration to Manaan for all the work you've done on Promise. It's absolutely fantastic.
Sarah, stand up, go on.
And the fantastic partnership that you've had with Sarah has really symbolised what this is all about. I'll finish the sentence. Thanks. So would either of you like to have the very last word?
Sarah. I guess what we finished the session on space program was around that let not the frontiers of our organization be barriers to kind of jointly redefining the frontiers of humane care. So working with Hertfordshire, working with kind of our colleagues in County Council, police, Anglia Ruskin, Cambridge University, you know, we can all, and Promise could be that platform. You know, we've got some fantastic talent through Tina who can link us up. We're already linked up with World Health Organization. And November 2016, we are hoping to sign the Cape Town Declaration. And hopefully by that time, we are already at 30. Hopefully by that time, we will have about 50, 60 organizations lined up to Promise. So it's a great opportunity to share success, share struggles as well and learn from each other. So spread the word.